Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to build one of these nest boxes just like this. They're pretty easy to build, just all you need is some scrap plywood or something like that, and it's pretty simple. We're going to do it today, and the reason I'm doing that is because I have a summertime nest box or a warm weather nest box right here, and it's these guys, they want some more warmth. You can tell because look at them, they're huddling up pretty close. I mean, they all do that, but these guys are about let's see, today's the 12th, so whatever that is, 2 weeks old or so, and I need to build them a better nest box. Now this is like a summertime one, and then the other one over here is like a wintertime one or cold weather. They need the warmth in here, but in the summertime this can overheat, so you got to be careful on, you know, all that stuff. Also, I don't know if some people are following, we have this pipe wrap on here with heat tape, and it's been working great. It's 30 degrees right now, and that's the reason why these guys were still in here. It was 70 degrees last week or 2 days ago, and now it's 30. So we got a little bit of snow, and want to go ahead and get this done for them. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is measure your door. That's the most important part. You don't want to make a box that's too big for to fit into your cage. So our door is 12 inches by probably 12 by 12, so it's 12 by 12, so we don't want our thing to be wider than 12 inches or taller than 12 inches, and the depth of the cage is like 30, so you know, obviously you don't want it 30 inches long, but that's kind of big. We want it about the same footprint as that one. All right, so here's the tools we're going to use. Now I'm going to use some simple tools. I have a table saw and stuff like that, but I'm not going to use a table saw because not everybody has a table saw. So I'm going to use a circular saw. You can get these pretty cheap. You can get a whole kit like this for like 150 bucks, $200, or you can get them used or whatever. But a drill, an impact, or just a screw gun, some people call them, a square or a triangle if you want to look at it that way, and some kind of straight edged so you can make a nice straight line. You can use a level, you can use a board, you can use whatever you got. A marker, some measuring tape, and then you're going to need some screws. And now instead of using screws, you can use glue if you want. That works as well. You can dovetail it so it's like the corners are like that. You can really make these really nice. I'm not doing that. Or you can use a nail gun with just some brad nails, like a 16 gauge maybe would work. Now the wood type we're just using a bunch of scraps, okay? Just this is a 3/4 inch. This is like a flooring board I used them for a project making some shelves, and I have a bunch of little scraps left over like this. So I only have like 4 pieces, and we're gonna make it work out of that. Now we're going to do this from scratch. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, and then when I'm done, I'm going to measure everything, and I'm going to make a little cut sheet, and I'll put that at the end of the video. So if you guys want to see that, it's available. All right, well, let's get started. And we're going to start with the sides. The sides are the most important, and I have a piece here. I think I can get 2 sides out of this one piece, and like I said, I only have a couple pieces of wood here, and I don't want to go buy anything for this project. So I'm just going to try to make it out of this, and we're gonna do the best we can. Now, this was previously cut, so these edges aren't going to be perfectly straight. Some are, some aren't. Like this is the only straight edge I have to work off of, so I'm going to start on that edge. And I don't really care about these little grooves in here. That doesn't bother me. It might bother some people, but not me. So I want my thing to be about this big, like that, somewhere, you know, about 18 inches long. 18 to 19 inches long, and I don't want it any higher than 11.5 inches since my door is 12 inches. Width about 10 inches or so. So for the sides, I'm gonna do about 10 inches high, and that way with the bottom and the top, we'll make it about 11.5. So we'll just go up here 10 inches, make our mark, 10 inches, and then the top is going to be about 7 inches. For the box, I think. So we'll go 7 inches and we'll draw a line. And then for the bottom, we want this thing about 18 to 19 inches, so we'll do 17 on the bottom. So I'll just mark 17. And then I want it to be about this high and slanted like this. So let's kind of look and see what we can work with. About 4.5 seems about right. And we'll just make a line, and then we'll connect these 2 lines together, and then that'll be our side. And I'll just use this level, this 2-foot level. All right, now I want to see if I can fit another one over here, like the same exact dimensions. And I want to do that so I don't have to waste the rest of this board. So it was 10 inches tall. I'm gonna run through this. This video is gonna be kind of long, so I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to make this. I'm not gonna shortcut anything. So 10 inches, 7 inches, and then it was 17. Come on. And 4.5 inches tall. Oh. 4.5. Perfect. And then we're going to connect these together. Now, obviously, if you get just a big piece of sheet, like plywood, like 4 foot by 8 foot, you're going to have plenty of, and you don't have to worry about getting it this tight. I am cheap, and I don't want to go to the store for this project, so I'm just going to, look at that. So it's like perfect for this piece of wood. And you could, of course, make your box bigger or smaller based on the amount of material you have. So I'm going to cut this out so we can get these, and then we'll measure out the top, the back, the front, and the bottom. And then we'll put it together. All right, so I got a table saw here. I'm not using the table saw, I'm just using it as a table, like a sawhorse type table. And so we're just going to use this, and we're going to make all these cuts. So we got to figure out how to do this, because when you're cutting angles, you need to really have you can't just kind of go into it. It's gonna bend and stuff. So we'll cut all our straight edges first, and then we'll go in there and get the other angles in. So just want to be careful not to hit your table. So what we're doing next is we're going to put the back on. So the back is going to be here to here. And we're going to want it about 10 inches wide. So we're just going to cut a 10 by 10. So this is 10 inches tall, and we're going to want 10 inches wide. So I'm just going to use this piece right here. It seems about the right size. And I'm going to cut from this way so I can cut this little sliver off here. So there's our piece right here. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this out real quick, and then we're gonna attach it so we can kind of take form here, and then measure everything else out. This part would be a lot easier is if you had 2 people. I don't have 2 people, it's just me out here. So I'm gonna do the best I can to attach these things. You can use a series of clamps or something to hold it, or however you wanna do it. I'm just gonna kinda, you'll see. I'm gonna drill a hole in here so I don't split the wood. I really don't feel like dealing with that. So, I'm gonna drill all the holes right now so it's easier to get them started. So since I'm using a 3/4 inch wood here, it's a bit thicker than normal. This is way thick. You don't need it this thick, not even close. A 1/2 inch would be fine, even less. If you get the a 1/4 inch and you use like staples, that would work fine too. They're a little bit more flimsy. I like these to last, so I like using this nice thick wood. It's not gonna rot away or anything like that. So what we're gonna do is I have these 1 5/8 inch like decking screws, and they work out pretty well. This is just what I have around. You can use drywall screws for like thinner wood, but not for this. It's not deep enough to go in. So let's just get one of these screws in here, and then the rest will kind of follow suit. And just that one screw in there, it makes it tight, you know. This is a good screw to use. I wasn't kidding about that. And you don't have to drill holes. Your wood splits, it tends to split a lot more if you don't drill. So I have this on the edge. I didn't think about that when I'm drilling into it. It's going to be a little bit awkward, but should be fine. Started to kind of take shape a little bit. Now we're going to do the front to close this in so it's nice and tight. And what we're going to do is just measure this out. It's going to be 10 inches wide. We already know that. And then the height, it should be 4.5. Yeah, it's approximately 4.5. So we're just going to cut a piece that's 4.5 by 10. And I'm just going to use this. Hopefully this is 4.5 so I don't have to make too many cuts. And it is, so it's a little bit smaller or bigger, so it works out. 4.5 by 10. We'll cut this out and then put it on there. That's cut. We're just going to go ahead and put this on here, and we'll just do one side at a time. Now it's really starting to take shape here. Right, it's looking like a nest box. So all we need is the bottom and the top. So we'll do the bottom first because it's the biggest piece. We want to use, you know, every possible thing we can. And this should be really easy to do. It's going to be 10 inches by, we have to measure this part because it's definitely going to be different. Your measuring tape out, measure. And for this build, it's 18.5 exactly by 10 inches. So we'll take this last piece of scrap wood we have and we'll measure. This is going to be a straight edge because it's green. That's the good thing about these is the green edges are factory cut. The ones that I cut are probably not straight. We'll take all our measurements off that angle. And I don't care about this little divot here. It's not going to really bother me. So what I'll do is I'll use that as my other straight edge. So I got two straight edges here. So 10 inches by 17. I'm sorry, 18.5. So there's our cut. Looks pretty good. It's a little bit not perfect, but with some screws it'll make it pretty tight. Now we just got to do the top. So the top piece, we're going to measure that as well. It's going to be a little bit bigger. This is 7 inches and this is 3/4 inch, so it should be about approximately 7.5, 7 3/4, something like that. So yeah, 7 3/4 inches exactly by 10 inches. So we got to find a piece that size. The last piece of scrap I have that'll fit. It's not quite the right size, but we're going to make it work. So just do it. So as you can see, I'm not quite perfect square there, but it's close enough for me to not really care. So otherwise you can take two smaller pieces and put them together, but I don't want that. I wanted to do it all as one piece. So let's cut this out and finish it up. All right, we got the top on. It's just 4 screws I threw in here. I didn't throw any on this side because it's tongue and groove and I didn't want it to rip through here. You can make it work, maybe throw a nail in there or something like that, which, you know, I have a couple nails I can throw in here real quick. But something like this is what you want. Now this is sturdy enough. I don't have any screws on this side, but I don't need any. As long as you just like, you put enough screws on in the back to hold it in nice and tight and grab it. And this is what you're looking at. It's something like this. Very easy to build. Took me like 10 minutes. Really, I'm not even joking. So next, what you can do here is paint it. This is very porous material. So as they poop and pee in here, it's going to be very hard to clean that without this being painted. If you use a high gloss paint, like trim paint, it's very shiny and it's very easy to wipe down and clean, so you can clean it out with bleach or whatever you choose to clean out your nest box with. Some people put baby scrapers here. It's just basically a little lip here, and that's supposed to catch the babies as the mother jumps out. We haven't had any really issues with that, so I'm not going to add it because it's just not something that I do. You can add that if you want. Some people just use a little piece of wood here, like 2 inches, that goes here, and it just, when the mother jumps out this way, it's supposed to catch the bottom and rub them off into here. We haven't had issues, so like I said, I'm not going to add that. And also, some people elect to use not a solid bottom. They like to use like a 1/4 inch hardware cloth, and that works great because it allows the manure and the urine to flow through the bottom. The problem with that is it also allows for a baby's foot to kind of get caught down in there. And if the nest box moves and it's caught on 2 different pieces of metal, it could rip their leg off or something. And I don't want that to happen ever. We've always used it this way. We've never had any issues, and we're going to keep using them this way. I just ran inside and found some paint. We have some dark gray. I think it'll look good, and it's a high gloss, or it's a gloss paint. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to paint this real quick, and then it'll dry in a couple hours, and then we'll put it in there. This thing is fucked. Here's the cut sheet that we discussed. I'll leave it up for 30 seconds or so. Waited a whole week for this thing to dry. Just I put a second coat on there, and I want to make sure there's no fumes in here. You can't smell anything. It looks great. It's going to be easier to clean, shiny, easier to wipe down. That's the whole point of it. So let's go ahead and get this ready for these rabbits. I like using wood shavings because it's very readily available, and we already have a bunch on the farm because of our chickens. And then I find it to be some of the better bedding you can use. Straw works great too, but use what you got. And that should be plenty. A couple inches. It's a week later. I went ahead and built a second box the day I made this box and painted it. I didn't want them to go cold. And this box up here, this box is pretty cold at night because it's getting down to the 20s. So what we're gonna do is just replace it out here just for the sake of the video so you guys can see it in action. So with the height of this, once they're about 2 to 3 weeks old, they can get in and out on their own. So you don't have to worry about them getting hurt or anything like that, or getting stuck outside after about a couple weeks. So just keep that in mind when you're building your stuff. And if you can always put a little door here to open this up, I've seen that before, or you can make them smaller. I like it this height. I just think it's better. Now also what you can do is turn your box sideways, and I'll show you that, guys, here in a second. That way you kind of understand how it looks, but that way they can go in and out freely. And then they have a little cubby to hide in, sort of, to keep out of the wind. But they're all looking pretty good. We got 2 broken fawns, which these are desirable. People really like this color. Fawn is a good color. This one right here that's standing up is a fawn, and this is a fawn broken, and they look great. I don't handle these ones that much. I haven't really come out here and messed with them too much, but they look pretty good. Got a bunch of casters in there. This is what I mean by sideways. You just lay it down sideways. They do mess the box up, so you got to clean it real hard whenever you're doing that. But it gives them a place to hang out on top, so it gives them a little bit extra room in the box. And it also they have that little cubby, like that corner around the left side, where they can go and kind of get out of the wind on almost 4 directions. So I don't know if some of you guys have been following, but I got this little blind guy in here. I'll show him to you. The infection's finally cleared up, but he's definitely still blind. If you learned something, like and subscribe. Really appreciate that. It helps the channel out a lot. And thanks for watching.